For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome aboard. We are live downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Starting this hour off, trying to get you yet another winner on the PGA with a championship beginning tomorrow. As Jeff Sealey joins the program, you can follow him on X. He is at Cutmaker Jeff. The Cutmaker podcast is up now on Spotify, and he is on the Progressive Guest line. Man, you've been on a hell of a heater in 2025. You did it again with Sepp Straka over the weekend. That's at least 4 outrights, plus you had a big number on Daniel Berger to finish top 20. And that run started, what was it, like middle of February, late February when this run started for you?
Yep. So yeah, it's been crazy. So over the last 80 days or so, it's been a great run. So looking forward to keep it going this week, guys. This is again obviously a major. There's a lot of options, so a lot of stuff to cover today. All
right, so it's a super long course, 7,600 plus yards overall. Plus the story early in the week was the rain, and it was a downpour. Based on players' videos and all the forecasts that you were watching out of Quail Hollow. Where are we standing with the updated forecast, and what do you think that does in terms of impacting players and who you want to bet on in the field?
Yeah, guys, obviously the heavy rain, you're going to have a soft course traditionally. You're going to have, obviously wet fairways and bunkers. It'll dry out eventually, but ultimately it's going to be a factor, I think, and especially with the rough. The rough was last cut on Sunday, so it's expected before the tournament's over that the rough's going to grow at least 4 inches by the end of the week, which is insane. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult in the rough, a little harder than we're used to seeing in a PGA Championship, more like U.S. Open conditions. And so I think I'm waiting driving distance a little bit more than I might have otherwise, simply because of the conditions.
Okay, and then how important is it that Rory has done so well here, in your opinion, that he's won 4 times?
I mean, guys, it's phenomenal. Obviously, look, you've got an all-time great golfer in maybe the best form he's ever been in at a course that he is extremely comfortable at. Frankly, I'm not sure how he's not the favorite. And so, when I look at the top of the board, I want to bet Rory and I want to bet Bryson. But for me, you guys know this, it's just about getting creative and finding the best ways to do that. And for me, it's just parlaying with other things I like. We've talked about this on the show a lot. And so, when I look at the top of the board, I've parlayed Rory with the Pacers in their series against the Knicks. I've done the same thing with Bryson. I've done a few where I've thrown in some Indiana Fever futures. So I think if you like those guys at the top of the board, I think the way to play it is to parlay it with another series bet or game or two that you like to really boost up that number. Even some heavy favorites you can play in and get that Rory number in the double digits. I think that's the strategy I'm employing this week.
Well, the Bryson love is, absolutely off the charts, because I saw a book go to shorter than 8-1 on him earlier this week. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I agree with that. But by the same token, I absolutely expect him to be in contention. And you understand it with Rory because of the course history and the form. But I think Bryson's going to be right there. So I think those guys clearly are. Scotty's obviously in the conversation, but for the price, I think those guys are definitely the top 2. And I'm going to be heavily involved in those guys in a lot of parlays.
This is atypical, Jeff. You don't go down this path very often, right? Where you're plucking guys off the very top of the odds board.
I know.
All right, let's go down. Let's work our way down the board a little bit then and get into mid-range if you want to, maybe 50-1, something like that. Who you like?
Yeah. Guys, I could not believe my eyes. I ran a bunch of models this week, and Jordan Spieth kept popping up. And in my main model, he's number 5 behind Rory, Scotty, JT, and Bryson. You can find him north of 50-1. I've seen as high as 70-1 some places out there on Spieth. And the narrative's there. He needs this to complete his career Grand Slam, just like Rory did at the Masters. And we all know this. Spieth is such a freaking enigma. You can say he's Spiething out there. That's a thing you hear. He can get up and down from anywhere. Sometimes his irons are awful. Sometimes they're amazing. But the important thing here is his putter has been really good. He's gained with the putter in 6 straight, and he's driving the ball really, really well, gained off the tee in 9 of his last 10 events. So I think with that, he has to be in the conversation with this week. 4th at the CJ Cup, 14th at the Masters, 12th at Valero, 9th at the Cognizant, 4th at the Waste Management. He's getting close. And if Jordan Spieth could somehow win this tournament, we're not going to see 50-1 Spieth for a long time again. I think he's finding that form again. This is a great price. I love him at a top 10, top 20, and I did bet him some outright at 50-1. So I am in on Jordan Spieth this week. I bet him a matchup against Hovland too. I know a lot of people like Hovland. I prefer Spieth. So I'm going for the ride this week. I expect it to be dramatic, but I'm definitely in on Jordan Spieth.
All right, so it's a new Jeff Sealey, a little chalky, and also is Koepka dead to you? 7 straight majors, he hasn't finished top 15.
Yeah, I can't bet Koepka this week, and I can't believe this is the first major since I can remember that I haven't bet him. And it almost feels I almost have some relief not betting him this week. I saw that Westgate has a matchup on Oberg against Koepka. I like that, frankly. I'm going to look to play against him in matchups. I saw a Sepp Straka matchup against him. I obviously like that. The main guys I'm fading this week in matchups are I'm going to fade Koepka, and I am all in on fading DJ in matchups. I bet Patrick Reed against DJ, and I bet Ben On in a matchup against DJ. So any good DJ matchups I can find, I'm going to be fading those as well, because you talk about a guy who just doesn't care. DJ is certainly in that spot.
By the way, Patrick Reed is kind of a popular guy this week, like in the outright market, from what I see.
Yeah, he has solid course history here, so that makes sense. And you got to putt well here. And there's one thing that Fat Pat does is putt really well. So I can understand some of the Reed love.
Let's go bombs away. Keith Mitchell has been the first round leader story of the tour now for more than a month. I mean, it's crazy what he does in the first round. Are you betting him to be the first round leader? And what else would you like to attack the board with here with Keith Mitchell?
You bet I did. And what's funny is his price is 130-1, but his first round leader is only 60. What does that tell you, right? I'm in on Keith Mitchell. He came in 6th in my model, right behind Spieth. And again, I love the first round leader play on him. I'm going to have some top 20 on him along with that first round leader. So I do like him a lot. Guys, Bud Pauly comes in right behind Mitchell. Another guy I bet top 20. All he's been doing lately is just making birdies and putting really well. Comes in 9th in birdies or better and 18th in putting. Amazing form. Top 6 or better in 3 of his last 4 events. So I like, but he's 250-1. He's probably not going to win, but another great top 20, top 10 option. And guys, I love my guy Jake Knapp. He's 300-1. I parlayed him a few different ways with the pace. I did a Knapp top 20 with the Pacers money line last night. Love Jake Knapp top 20. Do not be surprised at all if he makes a run this weekend. I'm a big fan of Jake Knapp, and I think that he's going to perform well. And all 3 of those guys as some bombs. Big fans. I think you could do a lot worse and play those guys top 20.
What about some props? This is great because, specifically for the majors, books will put up a ton of these different props as well. They do it for the Masters. They're going to come back and do it with the PGA. Nationality props or anything else that really caught your attention?
Yeah, guys, USA to win is -125. I did some math, and I give USA about 55% win equity here in this tournament. So I like that bet. I think if Rory doesn't win, I think it's very likely that an American does. I do like Minwoo Lee this week, and I was trying to figure out the best way to play him. And I think the best way to play him is top Oceania player at +330 and top rest of the world player at 12-1. So do like Minwoo Lee there. And then I did a make the cut parlay with Bud Cauley, your boy Jaeger, Sam Burns, Max Greiserman, Knapp, Spieth, and Mitchell, all to make the cut. And that paid 30-1. So that's worth some piece of money for a fun make the cut play. Very
good. Love it. So you brought up Greiserman then. How else are you attacking his numbers?
I'm laddering him this week. I'm laddering him from top 40 all the way up the board. Great driver, great putter, below average iron player. So a really good opportunity should be a good course fit for him. Went to Duke. Obviously, his experience playing in North Carolina. I like Max Greiserman a lot this week, and he's a guy that I think will be slept on by a lot of people, but definitely worth a look. All
right, buddy. So the number one golfer that you're drawing a line through this week, fading as much as possible, is Dustin Johnson?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And then Koepka's on the list as well.
Koepka's on the list, unfortunately. I hate to say it, which means he'll probably win.
Yeah. All right. There you go, pal. Let's knock him dead again this week. Thank you for the time. Go get him.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
There you go. Cupmaker Podcast is out. You can follow him on X at Cupmaker Jeff. He was on the Progressive Guest Line. You have many bets at all on the PGA?
Nope. I'll do something in play.
I added.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Rory 5-1.
No, I know.
Scheffler is. You're right about the DeChambeau.
Oh, come on! I saw like plus 785.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Maybe he wins, but you can't bet that number.
Well, I mean, it's like what Jeff said, Sherman, with that prop they have over there with the big four, and the no is only minus 130.
Think about that
against the big four.
Yeah, I did. I took a little bit. I'm going to hate myself. Probably by tomorrow mid morning. Victor Hovland at 50-1. Just at that number.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I got to try that, yeah.
You're going to bet him?
Yeah.
But you know what's going to happen.
I know. It's a roller coaster.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I'm looking for the hole in one. I thought it was a big number. I'll look for that during the break. Someone's going to pull that off. That's not bad. Was there another guy I was looking at? Is it yes, plus 130? Okay, thank you. Before the line moves, the sharp plays at sharpplays.com already there. They don't chase the market, they move it. You're not going to out-muscle billion-dollar sports books or full-time pro bettors on your own, but with the sharp plays, you don't have to. Powered by cutting-edge AI and trusted insider sources, the sharp play delivers the edge that serious bettors rely on. You'll get free betting reports, real-time alerts, and market-moving insights, all delivered right to you via email or X. This isn't some overnight startup. They have a documented track record going back to 2011. Receipts, logs, results right there on the site. Respected, watch, and fear. That's the Sharp Plays. Check them out now, sharpplays.com. I talked to Jeff today from Sharp Plays about all his years in the business offshore. Does anything compare to what happened? Both sides won now with the Celtics story, remember? With the widow?
Up by okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Remember cashing out the futures in Massachusetts
that's right.
with DK?
That's right.
Didn't want to let it ride. And
I thought you meant books that offer you're an automatic winner when you bet them and they get up by 20 plus.
Yeah. There's a couple books that offer that.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, we'll get into the playoffs coming up. We'll give you several players to look at in the Celtics game as Jason Tatum is out.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
NBA, NHL playoff time. So the Celtics are laying about 4.5 or 5 points tonight against the Knicks. Do or die here. Backs up against the wall. Use any stupid cliche that you like, right?
Mm-hmm. See what they're made of, though. Knicks have been the tougher team, and when the going gets tough, Boston wets themselves.
We brought on Jeff Sherman from the Westgate a little bit earlier. I agree with him. That was my initial thought to begin the show. I like Celtics early in the game.
Yeah.
So first quarter, he said no to a first half bet. Could dabble on that as well, meaning myself. But I think we're going to get a very inspired performance out of these players without Tatum to begin the game.
Really?
I do.
Now, who is it, though? I am all over Pritchard. I think Pritchard, who was awesome in Game 3.
Yeah, I like him for the game.
Yeah, I think he goes over his points prop, and he's got to make at least 3 threes. Which that has moved, 40 cents now?
65 cents at least.
65?
It opened up, pick 'em.
Oh, my God.
Now, I haven't checked in a minute, but it was $1.75.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be bombs away because this is what they're doing. And you just saw how many threes Tatum takes, and now that goes bye-bye. So Brown can't make them. So Brown better not do that.
Yeah, I don't want him shooting
aggressive.
threes.
No, he's been terrible. He's been horrendous, especially shooting threes in this whole series. So he can't. But then it goes back to... I like Porzingis under threes. He's been a non-factor and a complete zero out there. No energy, dealing with whatever he's been going through. He's not going to make an impact. Horford's going to take some shots. And but that leaves, because, what's Holiday going to do? I don't think he'll jack threes either. So it comes down to Pritchard and White. And those guys, and White's now 3.5 over 150.
Yeah, that's the thing. His numbers are too far out of control for me.
So if you're going to take 50 a game, and Tatum's out. Well, who then? That's going to be White, and it's going to be Pritchard.
Well, Pritchard, when Tatum does not play, this goes back the last 2 years, Peyton Pritchard averages 10.2 three-point attempts per game. So he's been good in the series. He's averaging more than 14 points per game. I bet his prop over 13.5. I laid 35 cents with that earlier today here at Circa. Also, without Tatum the last 2 years, he's averaged 20.3 points per game. So I think I can buy into Pritchard. And I will give you this about Jaylen Brown. Hasn't been great for him. But if you go back to last year, again, he was the best player on this team in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the NBA Finals. He has a 33.1% usage rate without Tatum in 733 minutes without him, and that's a 4% bump when he's out. He has averaged 27 points per game in 13 games without Tatum the last 2 years. I know plenty of props are available on vsin.com. Dan, new here to the network, he made a point that Brown over points and assists tonight. He had great analysis on this. It was 29.5. Thinking the scoring is going to have to come from him, but also like he's going to operate more as like a point forward here and get other guys involved as well.
I like Cat under threes. It's now 180. He's 1 of 10 in the series. I don't see why OG wouldn't be able to knock down a couple threes as well. I also think this is very good in-play betting standpoint. The other scenario is what if Boston falls behind? And maybe it's a comfortable lead for the Knicks. Then what happens? Then is it Cancun? You're the champs. You won 60-plus games. You didn't expect to go out this soon. Your leader is out for a year,
right?
Maybe longer.
I'll give you another reason why I like Pritchard, too. When you break down how the defense should work for the Knicks here, right? You figure that OG is going to have to be on Jaylen Brown quite a bit of the game. You figure that Bridges will probably be on Derek White for quite a bit of the game. Like, I think it's a waste for their defense to put one of their 2 elite perimeter defenders on Peyton Pritchard here. Unless the guy has 5 threes in the first quarter, which won't happen. But you're going to have to defend Brown and White with those 2 guys probably, and that leaves which player to defend Peyton Pritchard for the most part? I just think he's going to have open shots pretty much the entire game. I will ask you this. Is it squeaky bum time for the Knicks if they don't put him away tonight?
No. The Celtics could knock down a bunch of threes and it's not your night, then you go back, you close them out in the Garden.
Yeah, that's why I think I can buy into liking the Celtics for one game. I can't get there with like telling you I'm going to bet them to win the series or, my God, take a flyer on them to win the East.
Yeah, they just been the tougher team and making all the plays in the second half. And certainly it's been a mismatch in coaching as well. Just the same
big time.
It's the same stuff happens over and over and over. And it would have happened last year, but they didn't play a healthy team. They just do dumb stuff. They stop moving on offense. They stop passing, and it's chuck and duck time. And the next thing you know, the 20-point lead is gone. Again, 64, 32 points in the paint in Game 4. They beat them up on the glass. They took them out 37-23 in the third quarter. It's been all about New York in the second half and Brunson and what he's done as well. And it also comes with the territory where it's I can get to the free throw line when I want to. And I can embellish, I can attack, I can get to the basket. That's why they won Game 2. And that's also great to have in your hip pocket in a tight game. And also when you have a lead, knowing what he can do.
I also think there's an angle here for the Celtics that it's not going to just be, the hero ball stuff either here.
Yeah, that could be.
For one game.
Yeah, because that happens. When Tatum has it going, you're just standing around and looking at him.
Sure you are.
Because all they do is they do the same thing every possession. Mm-hmm. Find Cat or find Brunson, go at him. Get them in the matchup and then attack them or take the step back 3. Yeah,
and in the other game, I know everybody just thinks it's a foregone conclusion that the Wolves are going to walk all over the Warriors. Maybe they do. And again, maybe based on, this is another example, though, of a team that has to have the game to continue their series, or their season, I should say. The Timberwolves earlier this postseason, they were run out of the gym against the Rockets. That happened a couple of years ago in a game they punted against Memphis. Like, if it gets ugly tonight, I think alt numbers could cash with Minnesota, meaning like they could blow them out by like 25 in this game. But
that won't happen. That's not Minnesota.
I know
sports.
That's not who they are.
It's Minnesota sports.
They play to their level of competition here.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think you'll get the big lift from Golden State, knowing there's a chance Curry comes back for Game 6.
That's possible.
Yep. Now you're an 11-point dog. I think that's way too many points. But Butler should be aggressive. Butler should have a bounce-back game. Kuminga's been great. I think Kuminga goes over 18. I would ladder that guy, too. I'd be surprised. Because if they're getting blown out, he's going to keep him in.
Yeah.
And Kuminga's aggressive, and he also wants to stick at the Kerr. I mean, how many young players go to the media and say, I can't believe he's not playing me? I mean,
Well, what happened behind closed doors here?
Yeah, because he benched him for that long stretch, and then when Curry got hurt, he didn't have an option, and he had to put him in there.
No, he's like the second best player on the team right now.
Well, yeah, and he's a go-to guy, and plus he's not afraid to shoot. So over 18.5 points, and you can ladder his points, and he had 30 the other night as well. Can you get a buddy game? Can you get something from the others? I don't know. What are you going to get a Draymond Green? You're more likely he gets thrown out of the game or puts Gobert in a headlock than he is maybe to make an impact offensively. But I think that's big, knowing that they see Superman right there, and there's a chance with the extended rest, the weird scheduling, that they would get Game 6 at home on Sunday if they're able to shock.
Well, that's the thing, right? I asked you if it's squeaky bum time here if the Knicks lose tonight, and I agree with you, and you said no. I'm quite convinced that it's going to be squeaky bum time for Minnesota if they lose this game tonight.
Because they've been bad. I mean, Game 1 was all-time horrendous.
Sure, of course.
If they get any look they wanted, though, in Game 2, I mentioned that, how it was, since ESPN has been tracking that, it was the most wide-open threes a team got in a game. And then they just come out flat in the first half, and then Ant gives the impassioned speech at halftime, and he's aggressive, and he takes over. But if Ant and Randall play like that, they're going to the finals. They will beat
the Thunder, yes.
They will beat this overrated OKC team, which they are certainly. You got to be concerned with how they're playing on the road, too. Went to Memphis, were down 30, couldn't put them away without Ja, and then they can't score against Denver, which had the 21st ranked defense.
And in hockey tonight, so the last game between Florida and Toronto was a shutout, 2-0 Panthers. That was in Florida. Now it goes back north of the border. Are we going to get a high-scoring game again? The first three games, 5-4, 4-3, and 5-4.
No feel for the total, but Toronto missed their chance.
So you don't like them to win the game tonight?
No, they blew Game 3. Now, Stolarz was back on the ice. Berube said he's doing much better. Going to be Wall again. But you can't blow two-goal leads in Game 3. And then still, after you blow the two-goal leads, you have a chance to win in overtime. You couldn't get it done. And then you get shut out the next game. When Wall plays well, and plays great, actually, and it's 1-0 till late in the game. So this is where, again, history comes in, and I'll trust the champs. And I think Florida wins it. And I took them down 2-0 on Palm's advice.
Yeah.
When they lost the first two games. Oh, man. Hope I'm wrong. Got to end this. The Knicks are about to exercise the demons. See if the Leafs can do it. But I don't like their chances to win this series now. They blew it.
Yeah. As for just the game tonight, though, I mean, plus 122 right now is readily available. If that goes up any higher, if they can touch like plus 130, I think I'm going to have to bet the Maple Leafs at that number.
And the late game, also 3-1. VGK season on the line. 9 of the 10 playoff games have gone over the first period for the Knights, right back with the first period over. All that G-Bank best bets, the Visa signature card, get it today. Most credit cards, street sports books, and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases. You're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees and gaming transactions right there. And you're earning 1% cash back rewards on eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% on all eligible purchases. G-Bank. Apply now, vsin.com/Gbank. Plus, you'll probably see a ton of power plays in that Knights game. I mean, this is getting chippy here with what's going on and what they're calling.
Professional sports bettor Paul Bovi on the program coming up next. He was quite confident with his Knicks last week in studio with us. We'll get into his betting approach for tonight. And when the Knicks play the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, who does he like there?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line. We go back east to the Big Apple. Professional sports bettor Paul Bovi on the program. You were sitting next to us last week in studio. Boy, I want to say that you were actually cocky that you were so confident in the Knicks. And here you go, buddy. They have a 3-1 commanding series lead now going up against the Celtics tonight. How you feeling?
I feel good, but I never celebrate when my horse is rounding the far turn. We've gambled a long time, and we know better than to celebrate prematurely. So I'm going to sit back and hope that we close this out tonight, and if not, on Friday.
And if that's the case, now you're going to have great news, and everything's coming up roses in your world, because Game 3 was the most expensive ticket in Knicks history. Now imagine what the get-in price would be for Game 6, or for the first time since 2000, you go on to the conference finals and you would have home court there. And if OKC stubs their toe, you got home court throughout. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible, but you want to be there. I mean, this is, Paul, you pointed it out last week. It's been a long time. I've been hemorrhaging money, but you want to gain the experience, because you'll look back. You don't need the $1,700 or $2,500. What you need is to be there. And I was there for a lot of that in the 90s. But as I commented last week, we didn't get over the hump, but I saw a lot of great basketball and have wonderful memories. So I'll choose to go to the game and maybe sell one or two here and there, but got to get the experience.
Okay, well, so you went to the game, then you have 3 tickets overall, and you've had season tickets since when? Was it the late 80s when you got them?
Yeah, it was 1988, and I took on a partner a few years ago, and I whittled my seats down, because originally I think I mentioned I had as many as 8, but now we're down to 3, but the location is excellent, so we really have a great perspective of the game. We're about 15 rows up, and we really enjoy it. So I try to get to as many games as I can. I don't get to many in New York, but I do get to some on the road. I was in Detroit for one of those games. It was phenomenal. I did see a Knicks game in Cleveland during the regular season. So I try to take in as much as I can.
Well, can you do a better job vetting the fan that's going to buy the ticket maybe for Game 6? Because you have 3 tickets now. You went with the partner to Game 4, but you sold the other ticket to a Celtics fan. What the hell's that about?
Listen, we don't pick and choose. These buyers are anonymous. So this guy buys the ticket, and this guy's sitting next to us. All right, he's going to be a Knicks fan. He'll be rooting. Next thing I know, in the first quarter, he's yipping and yaying. I'm sitting back, and I'm getting frustrated. And I just walk around the arena. I mean, I literally walked that arena about 8 times, because once it starts going downhill, I just make my way out. And I make sure to go out different sides so I don't annoy the people repeatedly. But, it's betting basketball. And I had a large bet on the game the other night. And, Pauly, I sent you the ticket. Mm-hmm. It was well into 5 figures. So I get frustrated. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. Basketball betting will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
So,
well said. And you got a great number, too. And I'm sure you used that to your advantage when you walked around, and you probably made a move on Cardi B, who was at the game. So maybe that can work out for you. How do you see the game tonight, then? And you were big on OG props and defensively and what you said as well before the start. Walk us through what you think tonight from props and how it'll play out.
So the only prop that I played is on the Celtics side, and I'll tell you why I played it. Kristaps Porzingis, 6 games in the lineup when Jason Tatum was out, and he scored 19, 25, 26, 27, 30, and 34. Okay? And I got him at 13.5 and 14. Now, I don't ask why, is what I'm trying to say. I only look at the result, and the result says he scores. So to me, it was a bargain number. Now, as far as the game goes, I have an investment to protect, because if you remember, I was on the show and I said I wanted to bet the Knicks plus the 2.5 games, and somehow I was in a hurry. I had a lot of things going on, so I saw over 5.5, thinking, well, how could the Celtics not win 2 games here? So now I'm in a position where I have to protect that, and I may take a little bit on the Knicks here, just so I don't go down on that position. And I'm in decent shape, but I wish I had the Knicks plus 2.5 instead of what I have. But I'll be rooting for the Knicks, and because I do have futures, as I mentioned on the break, and they're lucrative. I didn't get the best numbers on them. As far as the conference, I'm plus 450, plus 475. And on average for the championship, around 10-1. So it wasn't the best number. They opened up about 14, 15, 16, and they immediately went down as they made these acquisitions. And they went as low as 7. I actually saw 7 to win the championship in Vegas at max. But, I'm sitting with a decent number.
How did you remain confident as a fan and as with your future tickets, considering they went 0-10 against Cleveland, Boston, and OKC and got drubbed on average by 16 a game in those meetings?
Well, as I mentioned last week, I think there were reasons behind those losses to the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And I pointed them out. And I'll point out that in Game 3, when everybody and all the experts anointed the Celtics Eastern Conference champions and the line ratcheted up from the Knicks basically and the Celtics being even in the series after 2 games to the Celtics minus 300, Boston goes 20 of 40 from three-point land, and the Knicks go 5 of 25. We pointed out variance. The Celtics shoot 48 three-pointers a game.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is the Warriors at 42.4. If they shoot that, they're going to win, and they won. They had a hot shooting night. But all in all, the Knicks, even though they were at a deficit in Game 4, from the three-point line, they outscored them in the paint. They got what they wanted, 64-32. And frankly, that's more reliable than shooting three-pointers.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Paul Bovi, professional sports bettor. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You mentioned earlier that you're going to go to war tonight with Porzingis. Numbers don't lie. Had great numbers when Tatum did not play. I'm looking at the screen right now. He's 14.5. And you can grab some plus money to the over. And I know you said you got like 13.5, 14.5. So to me, that would still be worth a bet to you then, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I laid money on the 13.5 and took 14.
Okay.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. The guy, and I thought about that earlier today. I have not pulled the trigger on Porzingis yet. I did it with Pritchard. Did you give him a look at all? Yeah. If you go back in 18 games without Tatum the last 2 years, he's taken more than 10 threes per game, and he's averaged more than 20 points per game as well.
That makes a lot of sense as well. Maybe I'll stick my toe in the water, Mitch.
Okay. Are you going to be sane tonight watching the game?
I'll be fine. I mean, I have something in my hip pocket here. And my hip pocket has Game 6, just in case we lose this one tonight. So it's not as though we're on the cusp of elimination, which was the case when I was at Game 7 for Indiana last year. Who we will take care of if we were to move on.
No,
we
again,
will take
you
care
will
of
not
the
win that
Pacers.
series.
Hey, Mitch.
No, Paul, I
What's
love
that?
it. Indiana will win that series.
Pauly, I heard you yesterday. I almost had to tune you out when I heard this, and I wanted to get a hold of Mike Palm also.
Yeah?
They're not going to win that series. The Knicks will win this series, and I'll give you every reason why.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, no, when they play, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
First of all, last year, the Knicks were 2-0 with Anunoby in the lineup. Alex Burke, Precious Achiuwa combined for 4 minutes and then 29 minutes. By the time the series ended, over the last 5, 48 minutes combined. And then you go to Miles McBride, who went 11 and 20, and he averaged 36 minutes. Now, these are bench players. Indiana is the exact same team. The Knicks are a different team. OG came in for Game 7, hit a three-pointer, had to go out after 5 minutes. But if you look at this year, the Knicks 110 of 179 inside the arc, and they're outscoring Indiana in the paint 186 to 166. They have a better defense. They're more reliable in terms of scoring, and they have home court advantage. Indiana will not win a Game 7 in New York in Madison Square Garden. No how, no way. So I like the Knicks. They will move on. They will beat Indiana. Indiana can be soft inside, and the Knicks will take advantage of that.
All right, very good. Nice job there in like 90 seconds. Life advice, take a date to Game 6 if in fact we get one. All right, buddy.
We'll have some fun.
Okay. Enjoy. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Paul Bovi. First date, by the way.
First
the
date.
game.
First date, yes.
We should be staring at a major rebuild, and now is the time to trade the star player. Do you concur? Is next.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN. Great moments in history have begun with a question.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
And what kind of hair product does Mitch Moss use? But Follow the Money wants to know.
Do you concur? Concur with what, sir? Do you concur?
All right, we're going to use the R word and the F word here a little bit. So I mentioned I wasn't the only one. I mentioned, hey, I would trade Flag if I'm Dallas and try to get Giannis. Well, how about this angle now? If they already came out and said they have no intention of trading a pick. Should you trade Anthony Davis and rebuild in Dallas now and get a package for Anthony Davis?
I concur. You should, well, let me say it like this. I think that you should be active on the phones this offseason. I'll put it that way.
It changes everything.
Of course it does.
Because when he made that trade, he said we have a short window to compete because of Davis' health and age. But then Kyrie got hurt, and he's out for the year or most of the regular season. Mm-hmm. So why not just move him now and rebuild, and now you have Flag?
Here's the thing. The guy has been embarrassed, right, for months, and somehow it comes up smelling like roses the other night, which is completely preposterous. But what are you going to get in return for AD? You had to give up Luka to get him.
You get a nice package.
But like what? You're not going to get anything close to Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
So you're going to then turn him around and sell him for like pennies on the dollar compared to what you had to give up? Now you're going to get embarrassed again?
Well, you can sell the rebuild with Flag. And then, you also have other pieces there too with Lively and Gafford, and the team made the deep postseason run. But that's, all these teams have assets though, and maybe Spurs have a ton of assets. Houston has a ton of assets. I mean, if they think that one team thinks they can put them over the hump, and this guy could be the difference.
I also don't think they have to do a rebuild though. But if they got rid of AD as part of it, I think the parts are there for this team to be really, really good potentially.
Okay. So Jaylen Brown has $285 million left on his contract.
I called it the worst contract in sports that he signed. Yeah.
Holiday has $101 million. Porzingis is due $30 million next year. Tatum is out for the year. His max contract kicks in next year. They're going to be $200 million over the cap, $500 million payroll. And they could go out and lose in the second round. Do you concur the Celtics should rebuild?
Well, before I say yes or no, give me an idea of what you want to get rid of here.
Jaylen Brown, get rid of Holiday. I can't trade him because the contract's so bad, but I can try to get off of that somehow. And Porzingis has been a disaster.
I would say that, well, first of all, if you get rid of Jaylen Brown and that much money, you're going to have a salary match. That's the bad part here, right?
What were they doing? 60% of their cap is two guys for the next 4 years.
They gave them a combined, more than $600 million for those two players?
I think so.
So, put it this way.
The math doesn't work.
Are they a contender next year with no Jason Tatum?
No way.
I can't imagine that they are.
That's why the Cavs should run it back. Because you don't have Tatum, and Freak's probably going to go bye-bye too.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, if you can somehow get rid of the Brown contract, I'm open for that for sure.
Detroit, Kansas City, and Dallas, both on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Survivor strategy will be an all-timer this year. Do you concur?
Oh, my God. How is it not? Again, here at Circa, Thanksgiving and Christmas are its own separate weeks. So you can only use each team once, and you have to plan ahead, usually for Christmas. Now you got to do both. I should say usually for Thanksgiving. Now you got to do both like this. Very, very difficult. I mean, this is, sight unseen because the rest of the schedule is going to get announced in, T-minus 2 hours and 10 minutes right now. Mm-hmm. So you obviously have to go in thinking that you're going to have to save a bunch of those teams. But yes, you're going to be, think about some of the teams that you're going to be using to get there this year. more than ever
Absolutely.
before. You're going to have to use the bottom feeders of the league a lot.
2 tickets, 8th row, behind Spike Lee. You would take a first date to Game 6, Knicks-Celtics in the Garden? Do you concur?
Oh no, I would not. I do not concur with that.
That's a flex move, but that's
it
also
is. But you have no idea how that's going to go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you can't make. What if it goes awry 4 minutes into the first quarter, and you know that you made a mistake?
How so?
I'm saying, well, what do you mean how so?
The game or the date?
The date.
Well, you're just watching the game though. What's going to go?
She might be needy. She might be asking 1,000 questions.
Oh,
she might not have any care to be there in the world.
Well,
no way.
It's the third date.
Okay, if you reconnoitered here the situation before and you know what you're getting into, then possibly an early date. But first date, man, you're taking too big of a walk on the wild side.
Yeah, that is an incredible flex though.
Well,
Sure.
sure.
Hey, where are your seats? Hey, I'm sitting behind Spike Lee. Want to go to the Knicks game tonight?
But does the flex matter if you know that you made a mistake early on?
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a date, Pauly, in your life right away where you knew, oh my God, I'm making a gigantic mistake?
Absolutely.
So have I.
Absolutely. Was that when the gal brought the dog to dinner?
No doubt. Didn't tell me. Dog to dinner in a suitcase type of deal, and I'm sitting there like, what? Trying to hide the dog? Good memory on you, by the way.
Well, I remember it was a big story years ago, and no one loves dogs more than us, but Anna Benson brought her dog to a steakhouse in the Bellagio.
That's
and
right.
Like, what are you doing? You can't do that. She's like, what's the problem? And she threw a fit. It was like, okay. I don't care if he plays another 10 years. Connor Hellebuck will always be this guy. Can't make a deep postseason run, and the road issues will continue. Do you concur?
Sure, because...
So he's lost 9 in a row in the playoffs, 0-5 this year, 24 goals allowed.
Yeah, on the road. So he's going to be 32 years old in 5 days, May 19th. Save percentage is about 90, 2.97 goals against with a 23-33 overall record. Did you know that going into the game last night, he had 8 consecutive games where he allowed, on the road, at least 4+ goals. That was the second longest stretch of all time behind Greg Millen, who did it 9 straight games. So had the Stars scored 4 goals last night, it would have been 9 straight, tying the all-time record.
Yeah.
I have nothing to believe that this would change.
Yeah.
Guy's going to be now, he's been in the league for a long time, early 30s here.
Yeah.
I have to see it to believe it before I say he's not.
I know. It was better, but you set the tone, and that first goal was soft as it gets to start.
Yep.
But you didn't get any help. Okay, last one. I think you're like me, that the closest you will come to using the F word is for the draft lottery. I shortchanged them yesterday. The Timberwolves, their first 12 times in the lottery, never improved. Utah has never improved. Yet Dallas, 1.8% chance, number 1 pick. Do you concur?
So are you saying that the F word would be used on the air, you mean, if we were live on the air?
Well, I'm talking about not that F word. I'm talking about shenanigans.
Oh, the other one.
The other F word.
Yes. I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
Again, why is it not televised?
Yeah.
All you have to do, right? All you have to do is show up, right? Here's X amount of ping pong balls for the New Orleans Pelicans. Bam, you put them in the bin. Here, and then the 13th team up. Here's an X amount of balls for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
You see them right there. You put them in the bin.
It's incredibly boring, but you have to show it. And I heard a lot of this the last couple of days from people who were there. Wow, it'd be impossible to fix. It'd be too different. They did a movie about it. It was a real story with Lisa Kudrow and John Travolta.
That's right. Good movie, by the way.
It wasn't bad. They fixed the lottery. Mm-hmm. They did something with put the balls in the freezer or something. I don't know.
Called Lucky Numbers.
Lucky Numbers. It wasn't a bad movie. This actually happened. So don't tell me about how it's not far-fetched, but it's just all this stuff that's happened since 1992, is mathematically impossible. Mm-hmm. Like the Timberwolves could never improve. They would always fall back. LeBron leaves. Oh, the Cavs get the number 1 pick.
Surprise.
Right. Oh, LeBron's coming back to Cleveland. They get the number 1 pick. Oh, we trade Anthony Davis. The Pelicans get the number 1 pick. Oh, we trade Luka. They want to burn the city to the ground. Sure. Oh, they get the number 1 pick. This cannot happen.
All I'm saying is, why can't you put it on TV? Why? And then erase all doubts.
The NHL actually did. Yeah, I was not aware. The NHL did it this past year.
Yeah, put it on, televise it in front of us. Like you said, it's going to be very boring. I don't care. Because what happened the other night is just, it's so dumb, Paul. It's so dumb what happened to the NBA lottery the other night. Give me a break. It's stupid.
The odds that it would come, the percentage that it would come that order. Dallas, Spurs, Sixers was 0.0114%. That it would come 1, 2, 3 like
It drives me insane.
Car stolen, 0.3%. Get into Harvard, 3%. Die in a hurricane, 1 in 62,000.
Wow.
Die by a shark attack, 1 in 7 million. Win the lottery, 1 in 320 million. Die on your birthday, 6.7%. Top 3, though? The math doesn't math.
No.
Get out of here.
I know.
Can't happen.
I agree.
Cannot happen. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa takes huge bets from pro bettors, and DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. Get the real action, the percentage of bets, first percentage of handle on every game. VSiN.com/subscribe. Everyone loves it. The betting splits as little as $9.99 with your first month. VSiN.com/subscribe.
And Nico Harrison gets rewarded.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
He buys them 5 years.
Today's MLB card up next, including a look at truly awful, the state of Major League Baseball bullpens coming up.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.